Welcome everybody to our IAE Best in Show special. I'm your host, Jared Huckabee. We've had 3 great episodes of the IAE show so far. I hope you really enjoyed them. We had a lot of fun making them. On our last episode, our Best in Show special, we wanted to do something a little bit different. We wanted to have a one-on-one chat with a certified Star Citizen legend. So let me see if I can give you the proper introduction. Okay. So this person has performed in over 30,000 commercials, equaling over 2,000 hours of broadcast television, and has been heard by an estimated 2 billion people around the world. How's that for an intro? Please join me in welcoming to the spaceship, to IAE, the person you know as Jax McCleary, Mr. Jonathan Booth. Jonathan, welcome to the show.
Jared, it's really good to be here. Thanks very much for asking me.
Before we get started, let's just prove to everybody you are who we say you are. Look into that camera. Give everybody an intro.
Well, it's been a while. I've been away, of course, for a couple of years, haven't I? Let's see how we do. Okay. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo 2954. I'm your guest, Jax McCleary.
That's awesome. All right. We wanted you on the show for so long. It's been one of those things where, Jax is such an integral part of the Star Citizen experience going back to 2014. So let's start things off before we get to meet Jax McCleary. Let's meet Jonathan Booth. Tell us, who are you? What do you do?
It's a rather strange thing because I've been one of those strange creatures called a voiceover artist for the last 35 years. So I sit in a small studio and I read the words I'm given and they go to various places all around the world. But doing this, Jax McCleary is really the only performance stuff I've done. So it's a real honor and a privilege to be part of it. I really love it.
What are some of the things people might have heard you from or know you from?
Here in the UK, I do say if you're over 30, I guarantee you've heard my voice before because I've done lots of stuff on the BBC Continuity, it's called. So,
okay.
Graham Norton tonight at 10:40 on BBC One, things like that. So I've done lots of, as you say, lots of commercials, lots of broadcast documentaries, audiobooks, all sorts of things.
How did you get started in the industry?
I was a DJ on a radio station down in Brighton in the south of England, but wanted to branch out a bit more, so I started to write and voice radio commercials and got into that, did a lot more of that, and it sort of all came along from there.
All right, so let's get into it then. Jax made his first appearance in 2014 in Galactic Gear Reviews the M50. Let's take a look.
Now, over the last few years, Origin has become more known for looking fast than any sort of actual speed. Meet the new M50. Flying the M50, an incredible man who, for some inconceivable reason, has never won a single Murray Cup. Me.
Tell me how you came to CIG. Now, this was just voiceover at this point. 2014, we hadn't begun our era of PCAP yet. How were you approached? How did you get the role?
Well, it was strange. I got a call saying, "Would you like to come in and do this?" So in we went to a studio in Soho, an London voice studio, which I'd been in many times for other things. But this was different because it was a great script. It was lots of fun, and we just wanted to try and make it a larger and life character who's developing these stories about these ships for the people who were going to be flying them. And it was great. It was different to what I was doing before, so it was great fun.
What did they tell you about the project, about Star Citizen? What did you know going in?
I knew nothing going in. So it was completely new to me, and they opened up this whole world of how Star Citizen was being developed and who was going to be involved, and it just sounded really exciting. And so it was just great trying to sort of project that character.
There's a line in that commercial. I was still a backer at this point. I was still a fan of the project, and the line is, "An orgy of mind-bending numbers."
The stats are an orgy of mind-bending numbers.
When you had to read that line, did you think you'd still be here 10 years later?
I had no idea. I mean, what it's developed into and the fun we've had with it has been, and the way Jax has developed and where he's been, it's just remarkable. No, I had no idea that was going to happen, but I'm very grateful it has. It's been fantastic.
So there was no Jax in 2015. At this point, it was just a one-off commercial for the M50. In 2016, we created the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo as a theming for our annual anniversary event that happened every year. And with that, the idea to bring Jax back and make him part of this big event from its inception. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the videos from 2016.
Do you sense that electricity in the air? Do you smell those ionized particles? Do you feel your bowels loosening with a deep thrum from hundreds of thrusters firing at once? The really incredible thing about being here at the Intergalactic Aerospace Show is the unexpected surprises that sit idling around every corner.
So yeah, so this expanded Jax into a whole new world. What are your memories? Now, they called you back in 2016, and this time it was going to be performance capture.
Which I had no idea what that was. So I turn up at Elstree through those famous gates, amazing space, surrounded by cameras, sensors, loads of people, 20, 30 people. And then I'm requested to put on this essentially large black condom. I have no idea, the most undignified thing that I can think of. And then they produce these amazing things with this stuff going on behind me, which is extraordinary. Of course, we didn't see it then, because the technology then, now it's live, we can all see it as we're doing it.
With the sheer size and scale of the Aerospace Expo, it can be easy to get overwhelmed by all there is to see and do.
But then it was, a very iterative process.
So at this point, you've now done 8 more videos, with different manufacturers, Aegis, Misk, Drake. What context did they give you for this? Do you have a sense of where you're at, or are you just doing what everybody tells you?
To a certain extent I'm doing that, because I'm just trying to hold on here. I think I am flying, as Jax quite often is, I'm flying by the seat of my pants, in a space where you haven't got that much to react. Well, you've got nothing to react to, because it's just a big cube. And so I'm having to try and imagine where the ships are and react to them, and trying to hold all that in my head is quite hard.
Let's move to 2017. In 2017, just one video came back for the release of the Aegis Hammerhead, one of the fan favorite ships still to this day, one of our more popular releases.
Every day they're not getting shot at, Alfonso EVAs across the entirety of this 100-meter long Aegis Hammerhead to visually inspect the dozens of guns and missile launchers that make this patrol ship such a formidable foe. Optics, targeting systems, mount connections, head threading, even lubrication levels all must be checked, rechecked, and meticulously maintained. Basically, all the worst parts of operating really big and powerful guns.
What do you remember of this? Was this still back at Imaginarium? Where did we do the Hammerhead?
I think we might have still been at Imaginarium for that one. Okay. We then moved in the next year to Nottingham to do it in there. But again, the same, where the studio is wasn't necessarily the issue. The volume was there, and the whole universe traveled with us as we went.
So in 2018, Jax took a break, and we got Kabuki Theater. Me and John Crew and so many other people. Less talked about that, the better. So we're going to take a break here right now. And while we do, we're going to play something. You actually auditioned for 4 additional commercials before we landed on Jax. We found the original footage. We're going to play it for backers right now. So stay tuned. We'll be right back with part 2 of our interview with Jonathan Booth.
The Neumann factory in Germany. It is one of
Everyone knows Jonathan's performance as the soul of Jax McCleary. But did you know he auditioned for other legendary Star Citizen commercials as well? We've unearthed the following footage as a fascinating look at what might have been.
If someone were to ask you, what is speed? What would you tell them? Is it simply a measure of distance covered over time?
Well, yeah. I mean, that's it exactly. What are we saying here?
Legendary fighter pilot Aria Riley once said, "Give me a fully loaded Hornet, and I'll shake the gates of heaven." Yes, assuming I don't crash into an asteroid first. Remember, this is 2014. A comm comes over the spectrum with a job. All it says is an amount of cargo, a delicate timetable, and a risky route. Unless it's second-class junior cartographer Tessa Bannister. She was in charge of all the ICC scans, and I miss her. Every great dance needs someone to lead, someone to follow, and someone to tango.
I'm not entirely convinced every one of those auditions were real. We're back, everybody, with part 2 of our interview with Jonathan Booth. 2019, Jax made his triumphant return with his next evolution from Galactic Tour to Whitley's Guide. This was assisted by the addition of our marketing cinematics team, and to take Jax to new and better heights. After a year off, did you think you were done with Jax? Were you excited to get the call again?
I missed him, I did. So it was great to get the call again and to come back in with a whole new universes and ships to discover. So it was great to get back.
Let's take a look at this next evolution of Jax McCleary here.
This is in fact not an Anvil Pisces, but a true-scale remote-controlled replica. It's accurate down to the last detail, and I've been told it's very expensive. So, naturally, we're going to attempt to blow it up because we're borderline obsessively committed to putting the galaxy's best gear to the test. For you. Anyhow, I'm sitting here in a Kruger Archimedes. It may be a snub craft, but when you top out at 1,340 meters per second, well, no quantum drive, no problem. Even this year's IAE food court is embracing the esoteric offerings of our non-human brethren. Take this. What is it again, Jimmy?
They said it was pickled corpse bug.
All right. Pickled corpse bug. Well, down the hatch. Let's go take a look.
Right away, we see Jax is more chaotic than he was in the past. Was this something new? Was this an evolution of the character, or do you think this was always there underneath, waiting to be revealed?
I think he always had a predilection for trying to be, different and to shake the system. And I think as he got to this point, he felt he was able to get away with it more. He felt he was a star. He felt he could pretty much get away with anything. And so that's we sort of took it a little bit further down the road.
So you're back in the full-body condom, as you called it, the very flattering outfit. You've done this before. Now you've returned for another multi-part series. Were you better at it? Were you more comfortable with it? How did your performance change after a year off?
Yeah, I think I was more comfortable with it. I think the technology also had improved. When we first did it back 10 years ago, the helmet was incredibly heavy, and the lights that came round and the microphones and the dots you had to put on the face were more. So it was much more easier to move around. And the helmet was lighter, so you could have a lot more freedom of movement, and you could see a bit more rather than having the lights right in front of your face. You could actually see what was going on. So it was easier.
And one of the signature elements of this 2019 Whitley's Guide Evolution was the introduction of Jimmy.
Close, but no cigar, Jimmy.
When you found out you were going to have a sidekick now, what were your thoughts on Jimmy? What was it like working with Jimmy?
Jimmy's great. Jimmy's he's a fantastic character, and he's a real gentleman. He's a good guy, and I think he turns up to make Jax look bad, which is what he does effectively. He's the good guy.
Jax came back again in 2020 and 2021. Let's take a look at some of those videos.
Jimmy, the blindfold? I thank you. Here it comes. It's a javelin. No, Idris. Idris! Sir! I'll just do a little bit of that at the bottom. Finish that off. There we go. Jax McCleary. Ha! I mean, the cannons on those Ares models. Was that like a size 7? That is nuts. Absolutely insane. Raw power. Couldn't have put it better myself, mate.
So these episodes had to be produced during the pandemic. How did that change the experience?
It was fascinating because I thought, well, they're not going to be able to do it. But it was handled so well. All the procedures were in place, all the safety was in place, and we all had the masks and the various things, and we did things in iterative processes. So it was handled very well, but it was challenged. So it took us a little bit longer to do, but we still got it done.
And then, of course, in 2021, a bit more of a personal story began to develop. We started seeing Jax question himself a little bit more. I wrote it down, do some serious soul searching before he eventually steals an Odyssey prototype and take off into parts unknown. Were you excited about this change in his behavior?
I was, because he's really starting to sort of, as you say, a bit of self-doubt, a bit of sort of, is this the right thing for me, and am I doing the right thing? And then when he paints the roof with the Redeemer, I think it is, and then he decides, no, I've had enough of this, and off he goes. So very exciting, character narrative arc.
Was there any correlation between you've now been doing this since 2014, thinking like, how much longer can I go on? Do I want to do something different with the character?
He's got so many ships to play with and so many new things to do, but he's got to find new systems, find new people to play with, and just see whether that's the way he wants to go. But I think, he does miss, he misses Jimmy, I think.
And then in our final year of Jax in 2022, we find out where Jax went. Jax is lost in the pyro system. Let's take a look at some of these videos here.
Bob! Would a call have killed them? Oh, hey, Jax, do you want to come back, host the show? I'm sorry, Jax can't take your call because he's dead. Guys, I do know my way around an 890, and since your hideout's a derelict Origin super yacht, I may as well take advantage, so... Whoa, 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 whoa! No need to resort to fisticuffs to decide whose Aegis ship is the better. So, folks, Ruin Station is about as big as it is creepy. Maybe we can find a ship to stow away. I tell you what, Jimmy, if you hadn't shown up when you did, I would have been dead. But if Bob and the crew hadn't swooped in, we'd both be ink spots on the Ruin Station pavement. I owe both of you big time.
Don't mention it. Now strap in, boys. It's a long way to the jump point.
When you read that for a script, Jax is dead. Did you know that Jax wasn't really dead? What did they tell you ahead of time?
They didn't tell me. I think this is what happens in movies. They don't tell the actors what's actually happening. You don't know. I thought, oh well, maybe Jax, has died. They're obviously getting in new people. They're getting in new presenters for the show. So that's it. So it was great to find out that he wasn't dead. He was sitting in a squalid bedsit in the pyro system and saw on the television that he was going to get replaced and said, "That's it. I'm coming back. I'm not having that."
So Jax's story evolves here. Stewardship of Jax has passed from different directors with time. You've been with tremendous folks like Josh and David Roth and Kat over the years, bringing Jax to a new place throughout pyro system. Your story is dramatically different now. You're working with criminals. You're getting into trouble here, and this is your first shoot here.
This was the first shoot here in Manchester, this fantastic facility here. So that was amazing. Bigger volume, more people, more things, and lots more physical stuff as well. You're ducking behind things, and there's lots more pieces of real things on the sets that you can interact with. And it was great to work with new characters as well. Bob, I didn't treat Bob very well. I stole her ship, so that wasn't very nice. But great to work with them, and a lot more exciting things for Jax to do.
Now, at the end, Jax has stolen his ship. We leave him tumbling, unknowingly in the pyro system.
Yeah.
We haven't been able to pick up Jax's story since then. Our wonderful marketing cinematics team, they went to work on finishing out Squadron. If you guys watched that amazing Squadron playthrough at CitizenCon, you know where their efforts have been and that they've been well spent. But I wanted to ask you, where do you think Jax's story goes?
We've left him, as you say, tumbling through space. We don't know, whether he and Jimmy are going to get through this. But obviously they are, because Jax and Jimmy are always going to come back somehow. To where? Well, it could be interesting. There's so many different places to explore. It'd be great to see Jax come back and reclaim his rightful place in front of the camera and telling everybody about the ships, flying the ships and experiencing it for everybody and finding new experiences. It'd be great.
Got to come back and shake that Whitley's Guy producer.
Yeah, I think...
No, there's only one host of Whitley's Guy.
I think there's only one Jax McCleary, and she needs to know that.
So we're pretty much at the end of our journey for now anyway. How would you summarize your overall experience as Jax?
It's been a huge privilege to be part of this universe. It has been fantastic to work with such an incredibly talented team of people, technicians and actors and producers and directors. And I just hope that I've sort of held up my end, as it were, and done what's needed to be done. But it's just fantastic to be part of. It's been a great privilege.
I think I speak for everybody when I say we all love Jax. He's the most prolific character in the Star Citizen universe right now. Every year there's a call for Jax to return, and at some point the stars will align. We'll be able to continue Jax's story, and that's all very important to us. So thank you so much for coming up. Thank you so much for agreeing to be here, for sharing some stories, and I hope to see you back in the, what was it, the full body condom?
Yeah, I'm afraid so. It's got to be done.
Warts.
It's got to be done. Yeah.
We've now said that 3 times. I'm sure we probably could have gotten away with it once, but we've said it 3 times.
Oh dear. Well, it's been a great privilege to be here and to talk to you, Jared. It's been fantastic.
Before we go, let's send everybody home with a proper Jax farewell, shall we?
I just want to say, from the bottom of Jax's black heart, thanks very much for watching all these years, and I promise Jax will return. For now, have a great IAE, and this is Jax McCleary, signing off.
Jax McCleary, didn't we leave him in a Corsair in Pyro somewhere? I mean, that's a Drake ship. You guys know how Drake ships are built. It's gonna explode. It can't hold up those solar flares.
Didn't Jax and Jimmy end up in some outpost somewhere? I'm pretty sure the people that captured them were like big Whitley's fans, and you know they're just going to be making them kind of repeat shows night after night in some sort of like Groundhog Day.
I think Jimmy and Jax are marauding with Bob's pirate crew. He was the guy in the yellow suit all along, right?
Duh, he's on his farm.
Didn't Whitley send, like, their crew over to try and produce the show from Pyro?
Blow your goddamn head off!
Pyro's probably just killed them and carried on.
Hey, if you don't have to go out today, don't.
No, really. His body's probably floating dead in the void, bloated and frozen, or his body's being picked clean by a copian.
Oh, he's cleaning up the mean streets of Lawville.
I got it. Jax McCleary, Valacar Hunter.
Brutal! Put him on the hot seat.
Change the channel. How long do we have to sit here?